Hello and welcome to the second part of this PowerPoint training series. This playlist contains the majority of training videos specific to digital text creation, and it's aimed at those who have already used PowerPoint for the first time. If this is your first time, I would highly suggest watching the introductory videos in playlist 1. In this lesson, we're going to look at creating exciting titles just like this. Okay, titles are very important parts of your presentation as they are the first images you will see and they make a first impression. With carefully thought out text and font styles, you can set up the mood for your text right from the outset. Remember, the main goal is to educate yourself and most importantly to have fun. With that said, let's begin. In the following videos, we will look at how to create all the various visual elements that went into creating these slides and these titles, but for this lesson we're just going to focus on looking at your text styles and font. Okay, so in this intro right here, we just have some very basic text, Superman and by Clark Kent. If you don't know how to set up these backgrounds or text boxes I have here, just go back to the previous lessons in playlist 1. So what you really want to be thinking about is how can I make my text reflect the mood or the overall message that I'm trying to convey. So in this case, my title, Superman, is a very bold character. You know, he has lots of muscles and he's a very salient image in this scene. So we also want our text to be the same. What I've done here is I've just got a very simple text, but it's rather boring. If I go back to my Home tab, I have found some text online that's a font called Bummer that I really like, and it's very bold, and I think it well reflects what Superman is. Okay, this is a little bit boring as well still though, just a straight black color. So what we can do to make this a bit more lively is, since we already have this red background around the text, we might just want to change our color scheme of the text just to match in with our theme that's going through our Superman here. Okay, so selecting our text, we'll head over to the Format tab, and we might change the fill to a blue color, and the text outline we might change to a yellow color. Okay, now by default, the weighting of the outline or the thickness is really small, and we can come into the weight just in the text outline option, and we can change this up to something a little bit more thick so it has more prevalence. Okay, that's looking good. And again, with our by Clark Kent, or whatever your name might be in this situation, I'm going to use that same text, Bummer. It's a great font there. Okay, and by the way, the next lesson is optional. Just be looking at how to quickly install custom fonts, because there are huge selections out there to choose from, and it's really not that hard to just find a custom font, because PowerPoint offers a fairly wide range, but in not all circumstances will it have the exact font you need. Okay, so that's our first slide done. The next slide is for this presentation, and this might be a bit of a horror or a mystery, and we have some blood here on the door and it's all very sort of creepy, but this text is really plain and it's just looking out of place. Chiller is the title of this presentation, or this text, and it also happens to be this great font that is built into PowerPoint, and so I might use that font and increase the size. Additionally, to make this a little bit more eerie, I might change the color of that font to this red. Okay, and I might go a little bit bigger there. Great. And I also have this little subtitle, The Unknown, which is down the bottom here. Again, not very significant. And an idea I had for this is I sort of want it to be coming out of this door as if it's just been, sort of sucked out of this door. So I'm going to first start off by changing this to white so I can see it a bit better, and just sizing this up somewhat. And I'll again change my font to Chiller. And what I'm going to do is go to the Drawing Tools tab, so I have option to all of my different tools for my text box selected here, and I'm going to go to Text Effects, and down the bottom I have this transform. This allows me to skew the font or the text differently, and I'm going to use one of the ones right down the bottom here to sort of make it on a slant so it looks like it's coming out of this door. Again, I'm going to scale it up some just by dragging on the text box, and then I'm going to move it into position just so that N of the unknown is just coming out of the door like so. Okay, so already we've created a high level of appeal here, and just by using a few simple tips and tricks. Okay, and our third example is this little slide just with water written on it. Okay, and at the moment, again, this is really boring. And PowerPoint has a few things that can make things look watery or reflective. So I'll take the text, and I found this little font called Ravi, which is just here. And this is sort of a bit curly, a bit warped, and it looks like a sort of watery kind of text. Again, let's just scale this up to give it a bit more of importance. Now, one thing water typically is characterized by is its reflection, and we can also do this with our text. So again, going to our Format tab, we can add a reflective text effect just to sort of, have congruency running through our slide here. And we can also do the same thing as we did with our Chila slide. Going to the text effects and our transform, we can find one of these that is looking a bit more wavy. And you can see by changing it to a wavy sort of text, it's also scaled it up. So to combat that, we're just going to scale it back down a little bit just by dragging and finding the size that we want. Okay. Finally, for this slide, water is also blue, so I'm just going to change this text just in my format to where I find it, text fill to a sort of blue color. There we go. And you can see we sort of have that reflection coming underneath. If this isn't the sort of look you're going for, I'd really encourage you to play around. There's plenty of text effects. You can add things like a glow to it. In fact, I like that. We can add that in, and whole lots of things from 3D rotation and bevel, and also shadow, and we'll look at that in the next example. But it gives you a fair range of options to really create the text and make it fit in with your presentation. Okay, the last example for this lesson is going to be this image here, which is sort of like an oil painting of the outback, and it has the title A Lost Connection. Okay, again, this is just the default. I've just dropped this in here as a title, and I'm going to use a custom font which I also downloaded, and that's called Brush. Okay, and that sort of looks like the words or the letters of the words themselves have been just painted onto this canvas or the slide here. And again, black is just the default, and you really want to try and just change it up a bit. Going back, I might just change my text field color to something like a brown or maybe even orange. I think in this case, something like a dark brown looks nice. Just making sure that your text is still readable. And again, you can see as we scroll through our various examples here, we've just changed from really boring text, and we've just thought about what is the presentation going to be, or in this case we're just imagining if this is the title slide, what would the rest of the presentation or the text look like, and we've tried to build our text and change it so it fits in, and overall we've achieved something that's really visually intriguing and appealing as well. Okay, in the next lesson we're going to just briefly look at how to import a custom text, just like I've done here. It's really easy. If you already know how to do it though, please skip straight to lesson 3. Okay, see you then.